Welcome to the official Nurse Workbook 2.0 full and updated review. I have made this video a little while back, but there has been so much that has changed in just the past year alone, and there's so much more that we've added to this workbook, so I thought it was time we do a whole new review. My name is Jen. I have been a critical care nurse for essentially forever, and I have struggled with dyslexia and ADHD my entire life. I was always known as the poor test taker, but more importantly, I am the most visual learner on planet Earth. You cannot just tell me something, I need to see it on paper. About 65% of the country is also visual learners, and so this workbook was packed with intention to help everyone else as a resource to help them understand hard medical concepts. This workbook is perfect for any level of nursing. Not only does it have thousands of 5-star reviews, but it's made to help you from the very basics, and it builds up into advanced hemodynamics. So it doesn't matter if you are in pre-nursing or you're going into the ICU or you need a quick refresh whenever it comes to any of these topics. The beauty of this workbook with our RekPlay series is that this is something you can have always in your pocket for the rest of your life, essentially. Every single page in this book has a video that goes with it, so you're getting so much more information beyond the 300 pages and the activities in it. So we're gonna take a look and see what exactly you're getting with this Nurse Workbook 2.0. I'm also gonna drop in the caption below a whole bunch of timestamps, so if you wanna skip to a certain point and understand what's in it, go ahead and jump to it. So when you are on our website, you are going to notice that you can pick between either the 300-page physical book, or you can also get it on your iPad as well, and you can get the same pages on digital format. This is compatible with GoodNotes, Notability, or Note Shelf, and so you can interactively work through it. You'll then, once you purchase one or the other one, get a link that will send you our RekPlay video series, where you'll get over 100 videos of content that walks you step by step through every single page. Additionally, we wanted to take this a step further. Before we get into the fine details of the workbook, you'll be able to print out this activity page that you see in here that's in PDF format. So that way, if you want to retest your knowledge, you can always go back and print it out yourself. This is extremely helpful when it comes time to taking your NCLEX, because then you can go and hit the things that are your weakest and just retest yourself as much as you want. It's important to note here, though, that the content pages on the other side of the activity are not included in that RekPlay series, and mostly this is because we're trying to protect our really hard work and keep our copyright and our information protected so it's not distributed illegally. In addition to our printable PDF activity pages, you can also go ahead and click on the Quizlet link that is associated, and you can quiz yourself with thousands of flashcards and also do matching games and all kinds of things to test your knowledge. All of these interactive games all correlate with the information in our Nurse Workbook 2.0 and everything that you just learned or watched in our RekPlay series. So we're gonna jump into what is inside our 300-page physical book, but just remember that everything that you see here is also in that digital format. When you receive your Nurse Workbook, you will notice that it's made out of super high quality products. It has a very flexible spine on it, which is really great going in and out of your backpack, but this is super tough, so it's definitely made to last. This white cover has some tactile pop out to these ribs right here, which feels awesome, and it's just beautiful. As we open up our workbook, you will immediately notice that there is this pop-out bookmark that's gonna help keep your place as you're working through it. There's also an additional inside pocket, so you can keep any of your additional notes or your pages inside. When you flip the page, you'll be greeted by a letter that is written to you from me, and it talks all about the intention behind this workbook, why it was created, and how this book is truly made to help you no matter what level of nursing you're in, to help you from the very basics up to the bedside, but go beyond that test. A lot of colleges are really focusing hard on teaching to have people pass NCLEX, which is by all means perfect because that's how we become a nurse. But the hard part about that is that some of the real world of nursing isn't really taught or shown through, because that's not the stuff that's going to show how good an academic program is. So my life goal has been taking it upon myself to try to help you transition and not only get those good test grades, but get you real world nursing education. So when you show up to clinical or you show up to the bedside, you feel so much more prepared. I really mean it when I say, if you can understand the basics and the foundations, everything else on your test is going to be easy. But when you're memorizing concepts or memorizing acronyms or memorizing other things, those are short-term rewards. Those are only going to help you for a test the next day. But if you're able to retain what you learn, then you're going to keep that stuff forever. And this whole complex medical world will make so much more sense to you. Our next page is talking about why we chose interactive activities that are utilized throughout the book. And again, because of 65% of the population being visual learners, we wanted to try to do that here and cater to people that need more visuals and a better time to understand hard medical concepts. Our world these days wants everything fast, and reading is not always fast. And reading as a person with dyslexia, I struggle. And so that's a hard thing for me. So I wanted to create this book where, yes, you need to read in order to do the activities, but not only are you reading, but you're actually physically writing and doing the true false questions, fill in the blank, and all these things that we grew up on that are gonna help us retain, because that stuff and writing it yourself is shown to statistically improve your recall better than just listening or writing, watching a video alone. And speaking of video, colleges are actually noticing too that statistically students aren't reading their textbooks, they're actually going to YouTube to try to learn. So we wanted to make sure that we're there with you, and that way we can give you that college education or what you're learning in nursing school, but also give you that real world of nursing. And before we get into the very nitty-gritty of this entire workbook, it's so important to look at this table of contents and everything that we cover. We mean it when we say we're starting from the basics and going to the bedside. So we're even starting with our assessment section. And in this section, that is the foundation of how we operate as nurses. When you have a systematic process in your assessment skills or learning how we do those assessments, then you're going to be able to spot these really hard medical concepts a whole lot easier. You can understand all the concepts and medical things in the world, but if you're not good at assessing, that means the interventions you're doing on your patients when they're in certain medical conditions, you're not going to know if they're effective or not effective, because if we're not understanding what's baseline for this patient, then we won't know what's working or not working. And then we move into our basics, and this is going to be more foundational building. So even if you're not in nursing school yet, this is so perfect. We go over things like what is the spleen, what is the pancreas, and down to the very basic. And then we're going to build up into our harder concepts. But again, we walk you step by step through every single activity page on our RekPlay series. We'll then move into our cardiac section, and from there we'll cover respiratory, neurology, renal, multi-system, gastro, and more in our bonus content. And all of our sections are gonna start out like this. You're gonna have a really nice organizational spread, so you can always write the things that you need to work on, maybe the things you feel comfortable with, or the things that you want to come back to that you feel like you might need even more of a refresher to. So these little charts are definitely yours to make it what you need. You'll also notice at the end of every section, there is a review question spot with a free page of writing. So this can act like a master refresh of your knowledge before you move on, or even if you want to make sure all your bases are covered for the particular section. And in order to make our lives a lot easier and make this whole learning experience more systematic, we also start with anatomy in the very beginning of every section. So we want to cover all of the anatomy to get into the pathology, just like we do in our prereqs before we start nursing. When we're able to visualize that organ or the system or the human body, it makes putting it all together a whole lot easier. So how exactly does all of this work? Well, the beauty about this workbook is that all of your content is on the left-hand side and all of your activities are on the right-hand side. This way, when you're filling it out, you're able to just simply look over and see your answers right there. There's no need to flip pages or dig through to anything. Also, the beauty of this, you can always always fold the book backwards and have that spiral on the left side so you could remove that content and truly just test your knowledge without the ability to have the answers right there. Another great reference guide to this workbook is our lab page, our lab specimen collection page. These reference pages are great because it's going to show you what color specimen tube that your blood sample is going to go into. It's also going to show you the name or nickname that you're going to expect to see when you're in the hospital system and looking at the order. We also have our normal range guide to reference to, so that way you can always look to see what you should expect your lab result to be within. And of course, why are we even running this blood test? One of my most favorite parts about this is the index, and this is pages of just words that you could hear in clinical or hear at the bedside. And if you don't know what it is, you can look it up here and then always see where it is in this workbook so you can understand that term a lot better. It also has check boxes beside every word. So if you wanted to go ahead and go through when it comes time to potentially prep for your NCLEX, you can always check off a whole lot of words or highlight ones that you want to work on that you can build a strong foundation or base. And so you know that these are terms and things that you're ready to be tested on. And no RekMed book would be complete without pages of stickers inside of it. We love stickers here. We love to use them to help us reference the things that we want to work on. I do this for myself for my own videos, and they're just absolutely stunning. We're so proud to say that this book is being utilized by so many healthcare systems for their new grad programs across the country. In addition to working with a National Nurses Association that we will be announcing, or if you're watching this video and we've already announced it, we're very excited about the opportunity to work with them. And we're also having these books in colleges and universities as well, which is so great to know that universities and colleges are trusting us to help educate the future of student nurses. And we hope that you love this workbook. You love our RekPlay series we've worked so hard on. We also are adding bonus content to it, so you'll never have to upgrade your book or buy another book because you're going to have access to anything new that we build or create instantly, and we hope you enjoy it. That covers our Nurse Workbook 2.0 full and updated review. I will see you in the next one.